In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the QRD Stellar T5 Joy-Con controller for the Nintendo Switch, and could this be the best Joy-Con option outside of rebuying from Nintendo itself? Hello YouTube, it's me. It's Michael B. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the QRD Stellar T5 Joy-Con controller for the Nintendo Switch. I want to say a huge thank you to QRD for sending me out these Joy-Cons for the purpose of this review. Anyways, guys, let's take a look at the product and see if it lives up to the lofty expectations I set up for it in the intro. I'm going to tell you early on, I was very surprised by this product. So here, guys, we have the QRD Stellar T5 wireless Joy-Con controller for the Switch and the Switch OLED. As we turn it around, we'll get to the back where you can see all the cool features it has, like the Hall effect joystick, 8 colors, LED lights, macro back keys, the works. So let's take a look at what's inside the box, and we open it up and you immediately get a look at that pristine looking Joy-Con controller packaged up nicely with that plastic over the top of it. Let's take it out and take a look at what's included. You'll notice a directional pad fell out. There's the little styrofoam things over the controller tops. And then we're going to put on the D-pad. This is kind of like an Xbox Elite controller. You get different options for the directional pad, so that's one of them. Controller feels pretty good, but let's take a look at what else we got. We've got a USB-C charging cable, which that's going to be interesting. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And there's another option for the D-pad. We also get this instruction booklet. Well, it's more like an instruction map, and trust me guys, you're going to want to pull this out and take a good read, because some things aren't so easy to figure out, like how to change the lights on the controller. So anyways, like I mentioned, this is kind of like an Xbox Elite controller where you get different options for your D-pad. First up is this disc feature. Now, I've never been a big fan of a disc D-pad personally. I've always liked the set directional pad, and I'm so glad they included it, and it is the cross pad, and it works really well, which we'll get into a little bit later on. And I mentioned it comes with a USB-C charging cable. Now, these are Joy-Cons, but unlike regular Joy-Cons, there is a separate charging option. However, there are two Joy-Cons. You have to charge them separately with the USB-C charger, but there's only one USB-C charging cable. And, of course, the other way to charge it is to actually connect the controllers to the Switch itself. So guys, here's the controller itself. It feels pretty good, a lot better than the stock controller for the Joy-Cons, trust me on that. Like I mentioned, it's a bit of a big boy, kind of feels like a Duke controller for the original Xbox. One thing I really like about it is on the back, it's got this rubber grip, which is super comfortable. Alright, so anyways, I mentioned changing the LED lights, and in order to change them, you're going to press the turbo button on each joypad and then compress the trigger, well, the stick down, the R3 and L3 to change the colors. You can also press twice to have it like breathing or strobing. Yeah, really cool feature, super easy to do. Now, the controller itself is absolutely beautiful. The buttons are minimalistic, and there's a design pattern on this controller that gives it such a cool look. I think you guys are really going to dig it. It's got that semi-transparent and then the design. So first up, let's take a look at the Joy-Con and the controller itself and see how it works with the Switch. So on my initial testing, I've got to say it works really well. It connected super easily, and it controls the way I would hope it would control. It's comfortable to have in your hand, everything looks good, feels good, and it works well with the Switch. It's definitely, again, much more comfortable than using the included controller with the Joy-Cons. I also don't know if I would say it's more comfortable than the Pro controller, but if you don't want to carry an extra Pro controller plus your Joy-Cons, switching back and forth between handheld to, regular game mode, this is definitely a great option. Now, another thing I wanted to test was that D-pad, because with the other Joy-Con and Switch controller, D-pad isn't that great, so I tested out some retro gaming on this, and the D-pad was very good. I had no missed inputs while playing retro games. Now let's talk about in handheld mode, and most people know the Switch itself is a marvel, but it isn't the most comfortable handheld to play with the Joy-Cons. There isn't a lot of grip, it's just kind of like a flat surface, so not really super comfortable. Now let's take the Joy-Cons off our Switch OLED, easy enough to do, just press the button on the back and slide them off. And now we're going to get the Joy-Cons off the QRD Joy-Con controller. This is a little bit more complicated because the button on the back is in a little bit of a weird position, so we'll slide it off. This is one of my gripes, is where the button is. It's a little bit more complicated, but of course, it's as easy as pie once you get them off. You just slide the controller in, slide the other controller in, and you're good to go. And now you notice this controller is a lot more comfortable. And it looks pretty good too. Now this looks more like a Steam Deck or one of those modern handhelds. So I've got to say the playing experience is greatly improved. Now, of course, the original Switch buttons and sticks are preferable for a lot of people, but these are really good. But what really ties this up is the new form factor for the Switch with these QRD Stellar T5 controllers included. You can see how much more comfortable it is having that little bit of grip, that little edge and the little handle down, certainly making my playing experience a great deal more enjoyable. So, I've talked about it. I really like the grip, the size of the new Joy-Cons that are on the Switch. It makes it a much better feeling system, and I wanted to compare it to what you might also know if you're a big handheld guy. It's a lot more like the Steam Deck. It feels a lot more like that with the ridges on the edges. It's even a little bit more comfortable, not quite as comfortable as the PlayStation Portal, but it's there. Anyways guys, this is where the controller probably shines the most. In handheld mode, the new grips, all the other features, the looks, the QRD Stellar really improves the experience with the Nintendo Switch. So anyways guys, that's my look at the QRD Stellar T5 Joy-Con controller for the Nintendo Switch. I have to be honest guys, I was very surprised by this. You know me, I'm a bit of a fanboy. I like stock things. I don't often use third-party controllers or third-party devices, and I was a little apprehensive at first when taking on this review because I know that. But once I got it in hands and started playing around with it, I was very impressed. I mean, these are high quality components that they put into the controller. The buttons feel great, the sticks feel great, the D-pad feels great, everything works like it should. Really, really high quality controller. It was a little bit light at first, I was worried, but it does feel and control really good. But where it really shines is in handheld mode, because now we have Joy-Cons that transform the Switch into the somewhat uncomfortable handheld it was before into a much more comfortable, much more modern handheld with those extra rubber grips that come out. It's got a more ergonomic feel and it just works more like a Steam Deck and more like a PlayStation Portal. Anyways guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of the QRD Stellar T5 Joy-Con controller? Is this something you'd be interested in? I, for one, think if you have to go out and replace your Joy-Con controllers, this is a very good option if you're not going to just go with the Nintendo Joy-Cons themselves. And if you want something a little bit different, something that gives you that ergonomic feel when playing your Switch, this is also a very great option. Anyways guys, thank you so very much for watching. Tell your friends about me. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time.